It is our practice to take the various requests in numerical order. We will then take testimony regarding the application, and testimony is given under oath, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's been so long. Under oath or affirmation? Yes, under oath or affirmation, since this is a quasi judicial hearing. People may give testimony either for or against the application. After all of that is done, we then close the public portion of the hearing and we discuss and ideally arrive at a conclusion, yea or nay, before 11 o'clock tonight, because we're all going home at 11. 8 would be even better. You don't have to put that in the red. Okay. The first and only application is for an area variance, appeal number 1059 for a proposed two-family house on the corner of Route 44 and Pleasant Ridge.
Pleasant View.
Pleasant View, thank you. And the applicant was denied a building permit due to the fact that although the house was built prior to zoning, zoning currently requires 2 acres per family house in that area, as well as, since it is a two-family house, ideally they would require 4 acres. Is there anyone here to speak to the variance? Yes, sir. Mr. Hanson?
Yes.
Could you please stand up and be sworn in?
Certainly.
Yeah, that's what I wish I was smart enough to do. I went by McDonald's and there were so many people in there, I said, no.
I think there was a bus of hockey players,
Oh, that's right.
crowd and everything.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Would you please give your name and address to the secretary?
My name is Bob Hanson. I'm a real estate broker with Winter Circle Properties, located at 360 Violet Avenue, Suite 1, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12601.
Okay. And you want to elucidate a little bit on what we're looking for?
Yeah,
what you're requesting?
Basically, back in 2020, that property was a foreclosure that the client that I represent was interested in buying. So, of course, I went into the town, did some due diligence, looked in the building records, and they were very sparse. There was basically 2 or 3 pieces of paper in there. Spoke with the building inspector. He's not there anymore, I can't remember his name. But he told us that, you know, Pleasant Valley was trying to encourage fixing up the Route 44 corridor there, and that they were trying to get, I guess he called it an overlap zone or something, instituted. So, you know, they were having a lot of flexibility in terms of what they were allowing people to do there to try and improve the area. So my client went, purchased the property from the bank. We went in, I think, roughly a year ago with, you know, plans to do a two-family home there. In the existing, it was basically an old 5-bedroom, 2-bath farmhouse that was built back in 1870. So we wanted to renovate it, basically put a 2-bedroom apartment in the first floor and a 3-bedroom apartment in the second floor. So we had the plans done to do that. And when we went through and looked, it was permitted use with the planning board approval for the site. And so in the course of doing this, we got a building permit with the understanding that we were going to be also doing the planning board work in parallel. And we had gotten on the planning board agenda, and then I got a call from the zoning department that the planning board person said that they thought we would need an area variance for the project first before we could go to the planning board for the permitted use site plan approval. So that's kind of how I got to this point. So I guess when I was going through the application and stuff, I tried to answer the questions as best I could. I'm certainly not a planner or anything else, but I don't know if you want to go through them. Our feeling is that the owner has made substantial improvements to the property to try and improve the look of it, both inside and out. He's really not changing the number of bedrooms or baths. So the engineer that talked with the health department basically said as long as you're not increasing the number of bedrooms or baths, from their point of view, they're fine. And all we've really done is gone in, put 2 new energy efficient heating systems in, re-sheetrock the inside, all new electrical, all new plumbing, 2 new heating systems, fixed some broken windows that were there, and vinyl sided the outside, did some bluestone steps in the front and some stone around the foundation to try and improve the appearance. So I guess what I'm here for is to try and get that variance so that we can then go to the planning board to get the permitted use as a 2-family. It was it was our opinion that because of the way that it's on a major road like 44, there's not Goose's Diesel anymore, Fleet Pride next door, which is, a commercial business. Across the street on Pleasant View and one house back, there's kind of that big office building, looks like some construction equipment there. So we think between the improvements that the owner made to the property and the additional landscaping and work that he's planning on doing now, that there wouldn't be any harm to the community of allowing that to be a 2-family, same number of bedrooms. We don't anticipate any significant change traffic flow wise, and I went through some of the questions you guys had on there and tried to answer those as best I could. So I guess that's kind of the background of how we got here, trying to go for the area variance. So I guess there didn't seem to be any other way to increase the lot size. And when I looked at I guess it's the bulk schedule, the average density that they asked for in an LDR was, as you said, 2 acres. recommended lot size, and then the note indicated for calculation of number of lots. And it kind of seemed like maybe the spirit of that was geared more towards subdivisions where you're trying to calculate a number of lots as opposed to an existing house that you're really just trying to go to use a permitted use in that area. So it is, it is definitely under that new guideline, which then I guess they double. Although in the footnote for that, it did mention that there's flexibility in the lot sizes that are allowed. And once again, I think it seems like it's more geared towards new subdivisions. So I guess, given the commercial nature of the area, and the placement of the house on the lot where you have a natural buffer plus a fence separating it from the Fleet Pride commercial place, and there's some trees and a decent amount of distance separating the next door neighbor that's residential. We don't think there would be any detriment to the neighborhood in allowing that type of use in that area. And like I tried to say in here, if you look at the size of the neighboring parcels, and across the street there's a fairly large parcel of land as well, I don't think, allowing that one lot to be smaller size really violates even the spirit of what they were looking to do when they made that law. Of course, I have no background with the zoning or planning or who wrote it or what their intention was, but from what I read, that's kind of what I can logically get from that. And I mean, as a matter of fact, if we weren't allowed to do that, that pretty much would preclude any pre-existing lot that doesn't meet, the new requirements from when this was passed to be able to do a permitted use in that area. So I guess I kind of think that's the majority of what I had to say, and I know you can read it there, so I don't want to just sit there and read the words, but I don't know if that was kind of what you guys were looking for, or you can give me any guidance on questions or concerns or that sort of thing.
Yeah, we like to give the applicant, a chance to explain what they're doing, because sometimes you come up with something that isn't on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So, that way we can better understand it and give a more appropriate decision.
Sure.
So that's why we do it. Could you just mail in the form and be done with it? Yeah, you could, yeah, but it's better that you're here explaining what you want in case there's something missing on the form, that's all.
Okay.
Okay? Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
Everybody, probably.
Okay, well, jump in there.
Where did you see that was a permitted use in that zone?
It was in one of the parts of the zoning code. I looked at it online, and then, of course, the first time I looked at it, I actually realized that it was a draft, but there was a table. I don't know the name of it. It was one of the attachments to the zoning code, but it's.
Was it one of these charts that?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
one of those kind of charts, yeah. I don't know if that one's necessarily in there. In my big pile of papers, I'm sure I printed it off. I probably killed a couple of trees trying to prepare this stuff.
Let's see, it in there, this gives a, if it's blank.
Oh, you know what? Maybe it was in the planning board stuff. Because I already actually like I said, we were on the agenda for the planning board when this thing came up. So they bumped us off at the last minute. I'm not sure if I have the exact table number that's at the end of the zoning code. But I know they didn't send us back because it was not a permitted use. They sent us back because they interpreted the lot area needed a variance over what that recommended lot area was. And that's why I included that table in there. Let's see. Oh, I think it says attachment 1, schedule of permitted uses. I think it's an attachment at the end of the zoning code. And it, for LDR, it says, dwelling 2-family, P-star, which is permitted use subject to site plan approval. Yeah, I think attachment 1 is what I had. I don't know if, the asterisk maybe.
You-
It also said, subject to supplementary regulation and C 98-40, which I think is where the question about the lot size and the pre-existing stuff came in. I apologize, I didn't put that in my handout.
$98.40C.
Yeah. Shall be at least twice the recommended lot size in the district.
Right, I think that's when they said the recommended lot size, which was for the calculation of number of lots, that note that I put that paper in there, and then double that. So I think that's how it went from 2 acres to 4 total required for a 2-family.
Yeah. It's a huge. Do you, I'll just keep going and then I'll.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
sure,
all right.
sure.
How many apartments are you planning to put in there? You keep talking about 2-family, but it seems like you have, was there 3 electric things and,
Yeah, there's 3 meters.
Yeah, well, you have to, all the electrical was run to the most current code, so you're required by law to have a landlord meter separately. So all the electric had to be run so that the outside lights are all separate, charged to the landlord, not the individual
Okay, all right.
apartment. And that includes the basement, and I believe we had to do wired smoke and CO alarms through the whole building. So I believe that's also on the landlord meter. What else?
Okay, no,
Oh, and in the entryway, there's a small laundry area that's accessible for the first and second floor, and that has to be wired off the landlord as well.
So you've already outfitted this house as two-family?
Yes, the plans that were submitted for the building permit showed all of that stuff. So, and basically.
Because the building permit that you got last year was denied, correct?
No, it was approved, that's why we did all the
The
work.
one in 2001, or 21?
Yeah, 2021, yeah, I attached a copy of that.
Doesn't it say it wasn't denied?
No, it was approved on, I put the date there, I think it was
well, May 2022.
May 2022, yeah.
Well, that's just recent. I'm talking about last year.
Oh, we didn't do one last year, this was the only permit.
Because last year last year you got denied.
No, I don't think so. We only applied once.
Notice of denial,
Oh,
July 14. Oh, this is
That's this.
22.
Date of the notice is September 13th, 2021. So I'm confused.
yeah, this is the only permit we
This
applied
one was
for.
denied also then.
I didn't get this.
This one in May was denied in July. Oh, no, this is dated 21. No wonder it's a mess. All right, this date of this notice is September 21. So
That's
even with
interesting,
this,
because this is the only permit that we applied for. I haven't received that or seen it. If you don't mind, can I look at it? Maybe I can help answer some.
and then to,
Here.
Yeah, it says an application for a building permit has been
for a
submitted.
two-family dwelling has been denied.
Okay,
Now-
I haven't seen this. Yeah.
This, wait a minute, this says 3 Charles Street.
That's the owner's mailing address. Yeah, the Charles Street place.
Oh.
I wonder if this is, maybe it was noticed September 2021. Yeah, that's interesting.
So it would appear, unless you have different dates, it would appear in that time frame that this notice of denial was given, that's when you did all the work.
Yeah, this is a surprise to me because unless that was when the planning board came back. Yeah, this is the first I've seen this. Yeah, because John Puma, the building inspector, has been coming out, doing all the building inspections and everything else, so.
So the permit was issued on May 10th, 2022.
Yeah, yeah.
But that, the work was was the work all done by then?
No,
The work was done all this summer?
yeah, it was all done after the permit.
But-
No, all we did was maintain and, monitor that kind of stuff until the permit was issued.
Now,
You know what?
this is a
may be-
denial
This
for,
this may refer to the two-family and the building permit, because Courtney retyped the stuff in. So maybe they allowed the rest of the.
no, there is no they. Right.
Well, I mean, the building department that issued the permit.
Right, but, anybody else want to explain?
I can't explain this. I can't get the dates.
But
To
it
match
was
up.
September 2021, I mean, I don't even think.
This says that, it's denied because, requires two-family dwellings in the district to have at least twice the recommended lot size required in the zone. Right?
Right.
Do you have to specify on a building permit that you're renovating to make it a two-family?
Well, those are the plans we submitted. here for the building permit, two-apartment building, existing floor plans and renovations.
Well, that
You know what
doesn't, that doesn't mean that it's okay.
No,
Okay.
I understand. I'm just seeing this for the first time, so I'm
I
like,
know
caught
you're-
off guard
Notice of
here.
denial there.
But you see where we're confused.
Yeah, but, see, that was September 13th.
Is it a different number?
September
No.
13th, 2021.
It's the same one.
Date
Oh,
of this notice, September 21.
Yes.
Application date, July 22.
That doesn't make sense.
The building
Does it?
permit doesn't identify anything related to a
Right.
two.
No, just the plans that.
Just the renovations,
It just gave you the construction renovation, so.
See, I almost, I wish Sarah was here.
Me too.
When was it discovered that it would be a two-family dwelling?
Oh, right, from the day, from when we, had discussions and started working on the plans and everything. And the understanding was we would go in parallel to the planning board as we were fixing the building up. Because a lot of the work that needed to be done inside could be done regardless. I
So-
mean, the electrical, plumbing, the heating system would work, but
So
we
the-
never applied back in September 13th, 2021, so that's kind of strange.
I'm thinking that could just be a wrong date, like maybe they meant 2022.
Maybe they copied over a notice
I-
and didn't, yeah, maybe.
And I think that you may have possibly assumed that because your plans say two-apartment building and you had been talking to the planning board, I think you assumed that it was all okay to have a two-family.
Yeah, well, we were working with the planning board to get the
Right.
permitted use stuff
Application date
done.
22.
But, see, the July 14th, I think that's right around the time we got bumped off the planning board agenda, and that's where I think the whole question came back requiring the variance,
But it
and
can't
that's
be.
why we
Okay,
came
here
here.
it is. Notice.
But yeah, I'm just seeing that for the first time, because I'm like, well, I know the building inspector's been coming and doing the
We just-
inspections.
We just got an email from Courtney.
Oh, she watching?
Chrisanne, I'm sorry,
Is
Chrisanne.
she watching?
Saying, hopefully not, saying that the date of the notice is wrong, and it should be September 13th, 22.
22, that's what I thought.
Oh, that makes me feel better.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's good, because
Although, not a whole lot.
Yeah, well, that would, it goes from
notice
being
of
nonsense
denial?
to some sense.
Yes.
No, I knew we just put in the one permit for sure. That's,
21 to 22.
back in 2021, we were still trying to work with the engineer to do the plans and all that stuff. We weren't even ready to do the permit yet.
But it says application date July 14th, 2022. And the building permit says May, right? So I'm still confused.
I wonder if maybe,
When did you get involved with this project?
oh, I've been involved since we found the foreclosure house. So that's why I told you, I went in and spoke to the building inspector before I had the owners sign contracts, because I wanted to do due diligence and, make sure there weren't any violations and all that stuff. And I've actually been helping manage the construction stuff that's been going on, so that's why I know, John's been over to inspect from framing, electrical, plumbing, all that stuff.
So when you applied for the building permit, you also submitted the plan showing that it was a two-family?
Yeah, that plan was part of the building permit.
Part of the building
Yeah,
permit
no, we
application.
weren't trying to pull a
But I
fast one
think,
or
no,
anything.
I think
I
that
just
you
wanted-
assumed, because he had that, I think he may have assumed that meant it was okay to do a two-family.
Well, yeah, because if Mr. Fumo had, reviewed the plans and gave him a permit to do these renovations, I would have assumed that also.
I don't see any historical information relating to the two-family house yet from the day that the building permit was issued. Now, it may have been verbal, but I don't see any written in the packet
Right.
that we have, or there's nothing that said at that point in time it was gonna be a two-family dwelling. It was just going to be a modification or construction changes to the existing dwelling. And then up until the point where it was denied, and that's when the variance came about, which described it as a two-family dwelling. So that's where I'm just confused as to, you know, whether you talk to the planning board or you talk to the zoning administrator as to it being a two-family house, that never came up in the initial building phases, which you assumed it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was assumed here, because eventually they said, no, you can't do it. 'Cause
Yeah,
They
yeah.
found out. You know, they found out,
Exactly.
like, someone said, oh, it's gonna be two-family, oh, they can't do that. And that's when that happened at this point, which was when it was rejected. So now we're at that stage,
Right.
where the modifications have been done.
Yeah,
The house is basically a two-family house, sitting on a 1-acre lot. And now the determination is, do we let it go as a two-family house, or do we deny it as a two-family house?
I will point out, in the course of doing some research on this, I went back into the multiple listings service, and it was interesting because when I pulled up the history, that property was actually marketed as a two-family house, 2 different listings, and in the commentary, it said legal two-family. Now, this is after the fact, so I'm not trying to say we relied on that or anything else, but I was just trying to do some of the background. So it appears that from back in the 2001 timeframe, it actually had been used as a two-family house, although obviously it might not have been legal. But it was also interesting because there was nothing in the building department file that would indicate, oh, somebody tried to do an illegal two-family, so they got a cease and desist order or something like that. There's really no paperwork in there, which is surprising for a house that's, you know, existed since 1870, pretty much in the exact same, you know, footprint and everything else that it currently does.
There was no zoning changes done to that area either, was there? It's always been LDR, even though there's mixed commercial in there.
Yeah, that's, I don't know where the line is, you know, like what, how far LDR, or did it just pertain to that subdivision there, you know?
It's commercial property, right?
That whole corridor is commercial, pretty much, yeah, so.
Yeah, I think actually the couple doors down from the diesel repair place is supposedly the new town hall. I saw the sign up there.
Yeah, it's interesting, as Ms. Adams here just pointed out to me, our secretary, Ms. Adams, excuse me, that the Realtor.com listing lists it as a legal two-family. So that's what it was apparently sold as.
I've seen that happen.
That's interesting, I wonder where they.
I mean, I've been a real estate broker for 41 years, or salesperson, then broker. But I know that sometimes real estate people can embellish their listings and,
That's a very kind way of putting it.
I think that if you go to someone and says, oh, you know, I want to sell my house, oh, it's two-family, and you take their word for it. I
see,
think that's probably.
lately though, you have to be very careful because, you know, you're kind of liable for the content of that. I know, that's why I do so much research before I even take a listing. I look for violations and all that stuff, which is kind of what I did with this place too, but like I said, there was like 2 or 3 pieces of paper in the file.
Well, even in the past configuration, though, it couldn't have been a two-family unless it was like a mother-daughter or father-daughter or father-son or something, house where parents lived on one floor and the children lived on the other floor, I don't know. But
Yeah.
because the configuration of the house was purely a single-family, 3-bedroom home, right?
Five
Or
bedroom.
5-bedroom, yeah,
Yeah.
5-bedroom.
And the way the other listing had it, it was 2-bedroom apartment on the first floor, a 3-bedroom on the second floor. which is pretty much the layout if you look at the plans there that the owner was trying to do.
Did it have 2 kitchens in it when it was, when you first
No,
purchased
when,
it? Okay,
no, when we got the foreclosure, it only had 1 kitchen on the first floor. Yeah.
So now there's 2.
Yeah, now there's 2 according to those plans. Yeah, the layout inside is all done according to the plans that were submitted.
Yeah, two-family house doesn't work too well with 1 kitchen. Huh?
No.
No, definitely not.
Unless the mother-daughter situation that
Right,
you
that's-
mentioned,
That's
Yeah.
the only reason I was thinking.
extended family kind of thing, yeah.
This is curious,
This is not
curious.
saying that, though.
I know it,
I'm not saying
the
it's
more
not
you
a
read it,
kitchen, a second kitchen
forget.
was like-
Because here it says unit 1,
No, that's
4
what it's
bedrooms,
saying.
4 rooms, 2 bedrooms, full bath, blah, blah, blah,
Should we
blah,
have
blah.
known this would have been?
Range and refrigerator.
Yes,
Unit
because
2,
the
5
plans that were
bedrooms,
submitted,
5 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath.
those plans
Unit
were
1 doesn't
submitted,
list any baths, which is kind of interesting.
so
It shows it on the other plan.
Yeah, I'm saying this is the old one now.
Yeah.
that can-
And it also lists appliances included, range and refrigerator.
Yeah, so it looked like it had been used in that capacity, but like I said, there's hardly anything in the town records. And I know I dealt with a similar situation in Hyde Park where they sent records to get digitized and stuff came back misfiled and missing, so. But it's hard to believe that there's not more than 2 pages from a house built in 1870.
This is really gonna be difficult for us because we have a balance test that we have to do. And, it's those 5 questions that you filled out, which really is, this is a 300% increase.
From the
Variance that you're looking for, that's a huge variance.
from the recommended
Right.
density guideline. But like I said, if you look at that, it specifically says for calculation of number of lots. So this isn't really a subdivision or anything like
Yeah,
that. It's,
We know it's not a subdivision.
yeah, it's kind of a unique situation. So, what I'm hoping for is because of the placement of the house on the lot and the commercial nature of the neighborhood, I honestly don't believe it's going to hurt, any of the neighboring property owners. Certainly, the improvements that the owners made to the property has probably increased the value of the neighboring houses compared to the house in the condition that it was when he got it. I don't know.
Another, just a concern that I had was the health department issue.
Mm-hmm.
5 bedrooms, 2 apartments, you could potentially have 10 people living there. Potentially. You could
Yeah.
have 2 kids in each of the, in each bedroom and, a couple, in the master bedroom. So I would say potentially you could have, in 5 bedrooms, you could have 10 people. Normally, in this day and age anyway, there aren't a lot of 10-person families,
No.
single families, but,
And honestly, I think that's probably one of the questions that the planning board for the permitted use, that they'll probably address. But I know the preliminary discussions that the engineer, that the owner had with the health department was, their key thing was number of bedrooms, number of baths. And they said as long as there wasn't an increase in those, which there isn't, that they really didn't think there'd be any concerns. I know sometimes they will ask you to add an expansion area, a small expansion area onto the system. But I know that when Daly came to pump it, you know, he took a look at the contents of the tank and said it looked like it was functioning fine, but it's really tough to tell because that house sat empty for a long time, I believe.
Right, but
Before
yeah, I'm
this
just
guy got
hoping
it.
that an acre is enough property to accommodate that.
Yeah, yeah.
Plus, you did say you're gonna have laundry facilities there also.
Yeah, there was also an existing laundry in the old house too, just one laundry.
Now, you've gone from a one bathroom to a two bathroom.
No, there was 2 bathrooms originally.
Really?
Yeah, the original house was a 5-bedroom, 2-bath, farmhouse. Yeah, the same number of bathrooms, same number of bedrooms as previously.
Okay, I happen to be looking at, there, we have 3 listings here. And the one I unfortunately was referring to, list unit 1 as having a no bath.
I think I saw that when I went, I told you I went back through MLS.
Go by real estate.
Oh, here's the
There-
bath. Here's the bath.
You know, I'm not trying to be hard-nosed, but.
No,
Looking at
I want to get everything out on the table so
Yeah.
that, you know, everybody's happy
If I were to
and,
list my
and
house, they don't have all my bathrooms.
No. And if you look at- can't look at real estate is-
Well, we covered the waterfront on this one. One listing has 2 baths, one listing has no bath, and one listing has 1 bath. Your choice, what do you want?
You can't go by real estate.
Yeah, that's-
I know.
So it
That kinda
conforms to
proves
all the
that.
other, it conforms to all the other requirements of setback, correct? There's not a problem with.
yes,
the
yeah,
setback.
it's not quite in the center of the lot. It's kind of a little towards the back corner, but there was still, I believe, at least
If the
60,
attachment-
65
the-
feet.
The attachment sheet would reference the 2-acre property versus 1 acre for the setback here.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is a setback? I'll be sample enough, been by the place 12 times.
Frontage is 50, front yard is 50, side yard is 20, and
I got front yard 90.
Yeah, they got plenty of room there.
Yeah.
The way it came out.
oh,
John,
I'm
is
sorry, I
the-
looked at the,
John, do we know if there's any other precedents that's been set doing this? And
To the best of my knowledge, no. I think, you know, we take every application, you know, on its own merit, and would not want to establish a precedent for this, but if we were to grant the variance, then I definitely would want to see in there, you know, reasons why we are granting it, as opposed to just, you know, grant it. Because you can't, you know, you certainly don't want to set a precedent here. I don't know. You bought the house.
I'm just, the only part that is confusing to me is that the building plan was agreed to and issued in May.
That
All the
doesn't-
work, all the work was done, and then it was discovered in July that it doesn't fit the zoning requirement. So, you know, in essence, the zoning department basically said, we let the builder do all the work, and then came back to him and says, oh, wait a minute, you gotta stop because it's in violation of code. So something happened in the initial release of the building permit that didn't identify whether or not it was gonna be a 2-family dwelling. And if it would have been at that point in time, it would have been denied then, the building permit. but instead, the building permit was passed
Okay, yeah.
and submitted. So that's the tough part.
I think it might have had something to do with a non-conforming pre-existing. I know that discussion came up at some point. I don't remember if it was back when we first applied for the building permit, or when the question came up from the planning board person that referred us here.
Yeah, but I would think that would have been identified as such, and if it was non-conforming at the time, then there would have to been a decision made whether or not they go ahead and approve it or not. That's,
Yeah.
The fact that they approve something, they don't approve it, they just gave them the permit, that does not hold up if it's wrong. I mean, if it was, technically, it was illegal for them to give him a permit at that time,
Without a variance.
because he didn't have the right, without a variance.
right.
So that makes it kind of null and void.
That's the dilemma. Because you shouldn't have let them build it, and they said, yeah, go ahead,
But
and
it-
now, no.
What I'm saying is, that doesn't make it doesn't make his permit valid. As far as I know.
Well, I don't know.
Well, that,
Is that a legal, I don't know if that's a legal
that
question,
is a
because then
legal
the,
question.
because the building permit was an authorization on behalf of Pleasant Valley
Right.
to build a house based on the information provided, right? So that's what I would think.
Who looked at your plans?
Initially, I mean, we submitted them to the building department. I think the zoning administrator looked at them, the building inspector looked at them, whatever the normal review process.
That would have been when?
Well, I know the building inspector was in training class or something for, I think we submitted them in April, and the building permit was actually May.
year?
This year, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was all this year.
I only have up to question 3 on this application. Am I missing a page? Does anyone else have the
What is
rest?
it?
Here?
Question,
Yeah. In my package. Oh. Extra packet that I.
Betty, which one are you talking about?
The area, the application, I guess I'm missing page 2 of the application.
Do you want to look at it?
Sure. I'll share it with you.
Oh, the area variance application?
Yeah. Somehow. Maybe I forgot to print that one or something.
What's this page? That's what she's saying.
Yes.
That's just boilerplate, right? All right.
Yeah, he's got his stuff written down.
No, it's not in this package,
Right.
what we got online.
I didn't say it, have you?
It is
In my packet.
this one.
Oh, the one that she has tonight
Yeah.
was,
It's not in the one online.
okay, all right, so I didn't forget to print it, this is how it, okay.
I have one.
These two.
Do we need to have those the application for the variance?
I would certainly like one, but I already know that. She asked me if we need a legal opinion.
Yeah, this did not, I did not see all the previous paperwork. Where do we stand as far as if you were not granting? I'm not saying you denied, I'm just saying you're not granting.
I think currently the owner, here's the problem. From the beginning of the project till this work got done, all of the materials doubled and tripled in cost for this guy, plus the labor. It's the whole COVID pandemic thing where everything went nuts. So I think he's put, and I'm just throwing it out there, but having managed the he's probably put between $225,000 and $250,000 into the building. And it's much more difficult to rent a 5-bedroom, 2-bath home, given the smaller family size that you frequently see now. I mean, he's gonna have a serious financial hardship, you know, if it is denied. But, you know, that being said, I've worked with this guy for a long time, and he wants to do the right steps. We just didn't know that an area variance was required when we started this whole thing.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not saying deny. If we were to adjourn it to next month, all right? And in that time, get our attorney. Get a legal opinion on it, so that we have a firm footing.
I will say that I know in speaking with Sarah Davis, she had been talking to the town attorney, and I want to quote her, but she didn't think that this should necessarily be needed, the area variance, because of the non-conforming part of it. So the town attorney should be fairly familiar with
We don't
the.
use the town attorney.
Pardon?
We don't use the town attorney.
Oh, okay.
We have our own attorney.
Oh, okay, I didn't
No,
realize that.
no, I'm just saying we have.
That's my lack of
attorney-
knowledge.
An attorney that specializes
Oh, okay, okay.
in zoning.
I mean, I guess the impact would be, it would push out the planning board stuff
Yeah.
yet another month. And we've already kind of backstepped with that, and, you know, heating season's coming up and the building's kind of sitting empty, not being able to do anything.
Understood.
But,
And if all, and I'm not making accusations.
Yeah.
Don't get that here, but if all the paperwork were here in proper order, then we would not have a problem reaching it. I don't think we'd have a problem reaching a decision tonight. But if we give you an approval, give you an approval for this, but we don't have previous paperwork to show that everything you've done thus far has been approved, then we're hanging ourselves out to dry.
well, is there specific things that you need that, because I thought do you need, because the plans, the building permit were in there. I didn't include any inspection records or anything like that for
The
the work.
building permit for the original work.
There was only one building permit that we went for. That was the one that's included in that
But
package.
that's a recent one.
Yeah, that's all, that's the only permit we've
That's
done.
from May.
So you just started in May?
Yeah,
It's when they started in May.
yeah.
So what you're saying then, okay, and if I'm wrong, correct me by all means, that you guys applied for a building permit, did all the work, and now you're denied a building permit.
No, the building permit that I included there was approved.
Right.
That denial letter based on that had the wrong date on it, that was the first time I had seen that.
But this says application date, notice of denial. Your application for a building permit for a 2-family dwelling has been denied. Application date July 14th, 2022.
Right.
That's what I'm
We
told.
didn't, we didn't apply on July 4th. We applied in May. There was just that one.
But that's after, yeah.
I
that's
think
after
that's,
May.
I think that letter got written so that, because the planning board for the permitted use got pushed back
What
for the,
what is the permitted use you keep talking about?
for a 2-family in an LDR zone. See, it shows up as a permitted use, and they didn't have a problem with
Where
that.
does it show up as a permitted use?
In that, I just showed you that attachment 1, where it had the schedule of permitted uses in the zoning code. It's permitted with planning board site plan approval. So when we were already on the agenda for that, and it got pushed back because somebody with the planning board said that we needed an area variance because of the size of the lot. So that's when I think that letter, that denial letter got written, at least that's my understanding, and that is, I guess, kind of how we got the path into, to you guys for the area variance.
So if you never saw this, how did you know to come here?
Oh, because I've been talking to, Courtney and Sarah, and they told me they had to take me off the planning board agenda to come here for a area variance before I could go back for the permitted use on the with the planning
So you
board.
didn't know anything was denied?
All right.
No. No, I didn't see that letter until, that's why I was like, what do you mean denied? We weren't doing all that work without the permit being approved.
Did you go to the planning board in May?
No.
You just submitted a normal building permit?
We submitted the building permit with the understanding that we were going to submit to the planning board in parallel to doing that.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
So the building permit triggers the ability to do the work. So that's where we are.
That's a great.
Right, I know. That's what we were saying, that doesn't make it legal. If they grant this in error, if they,
Did you ever
or
go to
not
the planning
grant,
board?
if they,
No, they took us off the agenda. We were on the planning board agenda. I'd filled out all the thing, paid the
It still
fees,
doesn't make it
and
legal.
literally 2 days
doesn't
before the
mean you
planning
can't
board
go
meeting,
and do that.
I got a call saying we had to take you off the agenda
That's the
because
attorney.
they feel that an area variance is needed. So that's when I filled out and got on the agenda for you guys, because that's
So
what I
that's,
thought.
that's when the zoning administrator told you you needed it.
Yeah,
And all she
yeah.
did
But,
was type in
but
what
in the
you-
meantime,
what
you missed a
said.
month or two
Right.
where you were
Nobody
doing
probably
work.
even looked at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I actually tried to schedule the final inspection, and they didn't want to do it, because now we knew we needed the variance, so it's kind of been
So
sitting there.
none of the inspection's been done yet?
No, they have,
Oh, they
yeah.
have been done?
Oh, yeah, we're ready for the final. I mean, the electrical's signed off, all the rough plumbing is done,
Okay.
it's done. I'd be happy to take any of you through the place.
Hang on, let's find
So in
it.
essence,
Nothing under
essence,
multifamily.
if this is agreed to tonight, you're gonna get a building permit, or you're gonna get an occupancy permit. Is that it?
Well, I didn't ask that question because I assumed the next step would be to go to the planning board for the permitted use.
Floor with existing.
No, well,
So they haven't actually given you that permitted use yet? You're just-
No, they took us off the agenda to come back to see you guys first. 2 days before the meeting, I got a call saying we had to pull you because we realized that there's an area variance needed.
The planning board?
Yes,
So it's really only our job to say, will we permit a two-family house?
yeah, mixed up, because I don't think it would be the planning board that would give them the authority, it's the variance that would make the authority to let it go as a two-family dwelling.
Yes,
What-
because it's already a permitted use, that
Right.
two-family, you can have a two-family in that
Right.
zone, but only if you have 4 acres, unless you get a.
Did you wanna give testimony? Okay, that'd be great. Okay, one moment.
Bear with us.
I found it, it's up in the front under dwelling.
Schedule.
Does that say permitted? No, that's a bulk. I just had it. What's that say? There you go. I follow this one down and it says,
Permitted.
especially. So what the hell? Why write the rest of the code? Because it's permitted.
Oh, yeah. Haven't you found it? right, let's see if we adjourn this,
I would take their testimony.
you know, yeah, and have a special meeting, and set a special meeting for 2 weeks. And in the meantime, that will give us the chance to talk with Sarah, talk with Jim Nelson. How does everybody feel about that?
What's that,
Okay,
John?
we didn't
If
hear
we
it.
adjourn this meeting, if we have a special meeting in 2 weeks, trying to keep this,
I have no problem with
No,
that.
neither do I.
and in the meantime, then we get it right from Sarah, and I want it, you know, chapter and verse, bum, ba, da, ba, ba, da, boom.
Yeah.
And then we'll check with Jim Nelson.
Yep.
Unless,
agree.
I mean, if we can be satisfied, if we're satisfied with what Sarah says, fine. But we should know, you know, tomorrow's Thursday, we should certainly know by Friday,
Oh, yeah, Jim Nelson.
and then that gives us a week and a half to talk to Jim.
Right. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that is a good idea.
Okay. Want to take testimony from these folks?
Sure, sure.
Um,
Do you want me to sit down and give them the,
No.
okay.
Here, the thought is this: if we adjourn this meeting for 2 weeks, all right, we'll have a special meeting. Well, that'll give us time to advertise everything, right? We'll have a special meeting in 2 weeks, rather than we don't want to put you off for a month. But it'll give us a chance to talk to Sarah tomorrow or Friday.
Okay,
And then, if need be, I'll call our attorney. If we can.
I would like to talk to Jim.
Okay.
Because this may come up again,
Yeah.
and, you know, I feel like I should know.
Yeah, so that way we could talk to our attorney and then go from there. Feel much more comfortable doing that. 'Cause-
no, I understand, I mean, you guys are in a difficult position, right? The
Yeah.
town's counting on you to do the right
Well,
thing,
we
and,
make the big bucks here.
yeah,
Yeah. That's on the record too. But,
We don't get to just, you know, arbitrarily say yes, no, maybe so. We have to follow, we have a whole lot of guidelines that we have to follow.
no, I understand,
Just so
yeah.
you know.
so that's what we would like to do.
I think that makes sense,
Okay.
you know.
Trying
We're just trying to do the right
you
thing, and
guys.
we're kind of getting ping-ponged a little bit back and
Yeah.
forth in the process, so, I appreciate that you guys are willing to, you know, take time out to come back in 2 weeks
Any
and
objection if we have
save
a
us
meeting in
some
2
time.
weeks?
No, it's okay with me.
And no here?
I'm okay.
No problem, right?
No.
Okay. All right, let's do that.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
sure.
Hi, you folks have? Oh, I want you
Please.
to stand up, be sworn in, give you your name and an address to the secretary and the whole 9 yards. It doesn't have to be there, it can be here, you know, wherever you want, okay? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And please give the secretary your name and address.
Allison Richards, 11 Pleasant View Road, Pleasant Valley. I live next door, the direct
Next
attached
door.
property.
The next property up the road?
Yes. I'm on Pleasant View, they're 44.
Right.
So sorry we're late. My son's soccer game at the high school ran late or started late, so we would have been here at 7, but we ran late. So our main concern is basically the well. I may have missed why 4 acres is the variance required
The 2 acres
per dwelling.
is per dwelling, all right, since this will be a 2-family. It should be twice as much,
Right, okay.
so that's why we went from 2 to 4.
Okay, because I just know my house is about 1,900 square feet, and I have an acre, just under an acre,
Yeah, and how long ago was your house built?
well, in the 70s,
Yeah,
78.
I mean, that's it, if you precede zoning, then.
Yeah, so that's what the zoning is right now, okay.
Yes, correct.
And I mean, our main concern is septic, well, how does it affect my well? We are very dry this summer. We've had some of our friends lose their well, you know, that's my main concern. I don't know if May is when they started, I feel like they started before that, all the work there. We're right next door, so we've seen it. I mean, they were working on 4th of July when we were in our swimming pool. So, I mean, we've seen the work constantly being done there.
So that,
Questionable the way that it was done, obviously their cost and everything. The one thing I would say is the lights attached to the home, super annoying and really ridiculous.
The lights.
The spotlights, there's one shining on Pleasant View, there's one shining on Route 44. They're motion sensor. It's utterly ridiculous. Every 2 seconds, the lights go off. I don't know if you guys don't know, you're not in the neighborhood. I call it the busiest street in America because we have sit on our porch. You can't count 5 minutes before a car goes by on our road. It's amazing for a dead-end street to be so busy.
Yeah, really.
So it's I don't know what they can do, but it's clear.
Not to interrupt you, but there's an adjustment setting on those, and it can be geared down closer to the
Yeah,
house, so it's not set off the diesel.
Super annoying.
They're like LED.
So
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing where,
Well,
yeah, I think you can probably discuss it with the landlord, the owner.
that would have been amazing if they actually approached us or said anything. I know they bought the house, before the pandemic, and it sat this entire time. And so my question is, if you do your due diligence, you had 41 years of, you know, experience, I would have thought you would have checked all of the permits and everything and looked through all of this to know what you could do or what you couldn't do. The work was being done, then you got your permits, and now you're asking for a variance because all of these things came up regardless of hiccups within the town. I've been here, we bought our home, 3 months later, Goose's Diesel was going, we were coming here for all of that, which, I don't even wanna get into that. They got a CO and everything, and the landscape never was done. I still have telephone poles in my backyard, looking at them. All of that, nothing ever gets done. So I'm scared that it's just gonna be approved and it is what it is. So I'm glad that you guys are doing your due diligence and really being thorough with it, because we're a family next door, we're super busy. I don't have time to chase a realtor or a landlord because things are awry next door.
My suggestion, you said poles in your backyard. I mean, do you mean physically in your backyard?
Well, they're on the border because that was the golf range, like long ago.
Yeah.
And so the poles that have the nets on them, they were supposed to take them down when it was Goose's Diesel. And nothing ever happened with it, and
Would you consider asking them?
yeah.
And maybe you have.
And I have brought it up
maybe-
several years. I mean, it's been, I don't know how many years since they've
Have
been.
you brought it up with Goose's Diesel?
Yeah, I mean, they sold to Fleet Pride. I've talked to them before, and
Okay, and they just.
they were just like, we don't have the money, we don't have the time. That was like when it first happened.
Okay. But that was in the agreement that there's a.
All of the planning, I mean,
Then-
they came to our home, we've had site meetings, and they said, it's really the building, it's not the landscape. I'm like, the front looks great, it's
Yeah.
what I look at. But, so that's why I have like I guess, I'm very cautious about, okay, now I have to come again to you guys and talk to you and tell you our concerns. Like, we're a family of 5, we're super busy. I don't know if it's the landlord or whoever comes over there, but they bring their 2 dogs, where I have 2 dogs that I have on beepers, I don't have leashed them in my own yard. But once I had to tackle our pit bull because he saw the dog. So it's like, you didn't even come and address anybody in the neighborhood. I get a letter, hey neighbor, super offended. I was like blown away. Anyway, it was only addressed to my husband, and I'm an owner as well, which I was annoyed with as well. So any future correspondence, I prefer it to be addressed to both of us because we're both owners.
Since you have spoken with the new
The old owner, yeah, he has no affiliation with them now, he quit, so.
oh, so your complaint about, all right, your complaint about gooses, for one
Ye-
thing.
yeah.
Is, you know, I'm not trying to put it off.
Yeah,
There's nothing we can do, all right?
no, I
I
know,
would suggest that you go to and file a complaint with
yeah,
with zoning, okay, number one. And depending upon, not trying to be nasty, but depending on the validity of the complaint,
yeah,
they can say, you know, you have to take that down, blah, 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 you were in agreement that you were gonna take it down, you haven't taken it down yet. And if they don't take it down, then they can cite it, okay?
Yeah.
And then they go to court, all right?
no, I've had tree work done in my home, and the tree guy's like, I can just cut those down for you, and I'm like, it's not mine to cut down.
Yeah,
So we've kind of just sucked it up, because,
well, I would.
but
if it's a
we're about to
violation, then I
redo
would
our,
go and file a complaint. And
Yeah.
I say that not just, you know, like, hey, go tell them, no.
No, I appreciate
We're part of
that.
zoning, but we can't enforce that kind of thing.
yeah, well, I was told, I mean, we're friendly with, you know, maybe, I don't know if she's still on the board, but someone on the planning board was like, you know, they don't have the time, they don't have the hours, they're not gonna keep chasing things and making sure everyone's okay on their
Well,
permits.
that's why
and-
you have a zoning enforcement officer, okay, to do that kind of thing.
Okay.
Get out of the office, and if there's problems in the town, to try to rectify those problems.
Yeah.
If they can't be rectified, then issue a summons, all right? And, you know, and we go from there, then it becomes a legal matter.
Yeah,
And
Just
it's
sorry
not
for
as
the
if
new
you
owner
guys
to be
have
walking into
hire an
that.
attorney. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that, but
yeah,
it becomes a legal matter where, you know, it would probably be a lot cheaper for Goose to take down the poles and all that stuff than it would be to hire
oh,
a
absolutely, yeah,
attorney, you know?
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I know that's not the matter at hand, but I figured I would just throw that in there since I'm here, because I've spoken about,
in
you
for a
know,
dollar, in
I've been
dime a
here
dollar,
for
right?
the scrap yard too, that my neighbors would flip out because they would shake windows when they would dump a bus from like 50 feet in the air, so. You know, my main concern, I mean, obviously there needs to be communication. Unfortunately, the new owner and the realtor chose only until when they're, you know, forced to come to you to reach out to us, which is unfortunately, you know, not the way that I like to have somebody new come into our neighborhood.
Right, and I can appreciate that, but, and you might have told me this, because I'm getting old and sometimes I lose it. Hey, what am I gonna do, lie to her? Come on. But have you spoken, have you spoken with these folks?
No.
Okay, I mean, because, you know.
Because I don't know there's so many different trucks and so many different repairmen, and it's never the same trucks or anyone, and I don't know who anyone is. And in the scheme of COVID, we didn't want to sit there and approach anyone, because I don't know who anyone is, like I said, and I don't want to talk to the wrong person and get not the right answer that I was looking for. So we just kind of left it alone and kind of like, you know, looked as we went.
That's run by Fleet Pride owns that, Goose and.
Yeah.
No, she's
He's
talking
out of it.
about the house now.
Yeah, Fleet Pride is,
Starting-
yeah.
Yeah.
Goose doesn't, he quit, so
Yeah, I'm
he's
sorry,
not there anymore.
Remember him as Gooses, yeah. Okay, as far as these folks go on this house that we're
Yeah.
considering here, talk, you know, you're representing them, right?
Yeah,
so-
I mean-
just like to say, when we start a project, the first thing we do is put a sign up with our contact information, because,
But where was the sign? Well, all we saw was no trespassing.
no, there's always a sign that's got our name on it, or my name, and in the letter that I sent, and I apologize for not putting your name on it,
Okay.
I just addressed it exactly as the zoning office told me to send the stuff out. sent a regular mail envelope because I know people sometimes can't get to the post office to pick up certified mail that contained the same thing, along with a letter that said if you have any questions or concerns, they gave my personal cell phone number on that. So you now have my contact information, you can call me at any time. That the concern with the light, absolutely, that's an adjustment setting,
Yeah,
which
sure.
if we had known about, we would have had the guy do, but you have to use a lot of different trades people.
Okay, I'm not trying to be a hard nose, but this hearing, you're not supposed to talk to one another, I'm sorry. You're supposed to address us, you're supposed to address us. Okay, and, fine,
I wanted her
if
to
we can
know.
get this resolved, let's get it resolved.
Yeah.
All right, it's not a big deal.
No.
I mean, obviously, I don't know of anything about construction, but our one question is why the siding was put on top of the old siding as well. The old siding was not taken down. It was just put the pink stuff on and,
Yeah, it's done all the time.
'cause we
Well-
spoke to one of our good friends, the contractor, and we asked them and they said only if it's wood underneath. I don't know if it's wood underneath.
No, it was shingle siding over wood, but you can go right over it and, the building inspector knows that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
And just not concerned, I don't know with the roof, and just to let you know that the old owner, because we were there when the old owner was there, would have to shovel the flat part of their roof because it would leak. So it probably wouldn't do that when it was empty, but when people are there and it's hot inside, I'm sure you'll get that, so.
Okay,
I have a question for her.
okay.
How long have you lived there?
Almost 9 years.
Do you know, you said that you knew some people. You knew people that lived there? Was it
I
one
still have their
family or
phone number.
two?
Yeah, we were friendly with them. Yeah, one family was there. They had 3 children.
Okay. All right,
Okay, so, yeah.
that's all I have.
Anybody else have any questions?
No, that's good.
All right.
Do you think maybe, you guys could communicate?
Yeah, I would
And-
been open
you know,
to it if they
and-
would reach out
and-
earlier, because we would have,
I'm-
poor workers had to work on 4th of July. That was, we were like, what is going on over there? We figured they were going to be, my husband and I were kind of like, okay, is it gonna be the next first of the month that someone's gonna move in?
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going on at all. But our concern is, obviously, we have a family, we want our well to be in, good condition. I don't need, 15 people living next door either. Cause like I
That's
said, I
planning
have, my
board, right?
dogs are
Yeah.
over 5 years old, so now I'm gonna have to retrain my dogs for that property when there's people there. I don't know if you rent with animals or not, but that's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to adjust. For my dogs, are trained to stay in the yard.
When did you find out it was a two-family?
We received a letter last week.
Okay, so it was just last week?
Well, I work at Central Hudson, so I noticed the meters going up.
Ah, okay.
So
You
I
had a-
kind of figured
you had a
that.
clue.
Yeah, when I saw the Central Hudson van and I saw the meters, I realized there was other stuff going on there.
I would think and hope that, you guys can resolve a lot of these problems.
Yeah, and I know that that's something that, if they're gonna be a long-term rental or whatever, obviously they would have to, if there's an issue, obviously I would communicate with them. But my concern really is the septic and the well there, and going from, if it's required 4 and it's down to 1. I know my family on Wayne Acres, my house is really set back of my property. We don't really use our backyard, we use our front yard, and 5 people, it's a lot. I can't even imagine if you had 10 people there,
Yeah.
where cars would be. I don't even wanna mention the house across the street. I would love you guys to buy that house and redo that one, but they're not going anywhere anytime soon. That house is,
Yeah.
They've added an RV over there, it's insane.
Yeah, again, I understand you on the vent, and.
No,
if
I appreciate that, thank you.
If I were in your position, I would also, okay?
Yeah.
But, like, the well and septic, that's health department, that's not us,
Yeah.
you know?
But wouldn't you also, and I know, I don't know if any remember Robin Credo, she was a realtor in the town. She lived at 37 Pleasant View, which is 3 houses up. She sold her property. And she was the realtor that the original owners that we bought from, that was their realtor. But because she lived on the street, we became friendly with her. And she told us, because there's a stream behind us, that she had to get a special permit from the New York State DEC about the waterway. And even though it's dry right now, like, I don't know if that, like, if you pulled that permit or know that that's protected water right there, even though it's dry.
Yeah.
But that's like a protected stream, which I know came up.
And what is,
Like, I don't know if does that play in a role, variance of you determining, like, if there's a waterway next to it?
not
No.
not whether or not it can be a two-family house, I mean, if there are DEC, God has more regulations and.
Oh yeah, I tried to
Yeah.
Google it, and I was like, after 15 minutes, I was like, I need a drink, because
Yes,
this had me spinning.
Well, wait till you deal with them in person.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I mean,
But these
See
are
if you
things
can
I was thinking
resolve
about,
the
like that,
problems.
you know, and I get, like, you could approve it or not approve it, I'm not the one to, you know,
No,
be
we
up here, and I'm
want
not stamping my
input
foot down and
from
saying, no, don't
neighbors.
do it.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know, I live next door and I have concerns, so, and I'm glad that you all are, you know, doing your due diligence and really, you know,
We try.
seeing if this is appropriate or not.
okay, we're just, ping-ponging back and
Yeah.
forth here, so
I'm good.
why don't?
I can talk forever, I talk on the phone all day for my job.
So, yeah, if you have, speak with these folks.
I will.
And see, and see if you can get things resolved. And if there is something that is truly illegal and they won't resolve it or can't resolve whatever, then.
Yeah, I have to come to you
right.
guys, down to the town.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, I can appreciate what you're saying, and, yeah, I'm concerned about wells and septics and well, wells particularly now because of the lack of water. But yeah, try to resolve it that way.
okay, all right, thank you.
You have anything to say, sir? No?
She said it all.
Got it all done, all right, thank you. All right, so, shall we move to adjourn until next, or 2 weeks from now?
Yep.
Which is what, first?
I think it's the 12th.
It's the 12th, maybe.
Well, that's Columbus Day, isn't it?
Is it?
My anniversary.
Oh, my God. Well, there you go.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, you can make it the next day, or,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know about the town board when they meet.
I don't know anymore.
I don't care about the 12th.
The 3rd and the 17th.
3rd and 17th.
Okay, that's the
And then
board.
we have court Tuesdays and Thursdays, so it'd have to be the 12th.
12th is okay with me.
Is that cool? Yeah. Yeah, that's not.
17th?
Well, anyway, I don't know. We're just discussing it.
Set it for that for now, and if that's not good, then you can we'll let everyone know.
What date are you saying?
Yeah,
What
what
day?
date are we talking now?
The
Would-
12th.
The 12th.
October 12th.
Okay.
I'd say my bad, because that's a horrible expression, but mea culpa, I neglected to mention when we introduced this appeal, that along with the appeal, we have a list of a list of contiguous homeowners to which registered mail had been sent, certified mail had been sent, and we have an affidavit of publication from the Southern Dutchess News and Northern Dutchess News for an affidavit of publication, and it is dated 21 September 2022. And that has to go in the minutes. I apologize, I didn't do that in the beginning, sorry. Are we legal? Is there anything else anybody wants to ask anybody? Anything? No motion? No?
I know he does.
I know, she's asked it all, right? But that's Betty, come on.
Yep.
All right, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Favor.
Okay, we're gonna shoot for the 12th. You're gonna talk to them? Oh, we got all that solved. Isn't that great?
See?
And,